freshen up, and I apologize. But, I was just happy with the fact that, we got a big series coming up this weekend, and these two games, these midweek games, for me as a coach, you're always concerned about just kind of overlooking teams and getting complacent. We've been playing pretty well during the stretch, and I thought our guys played, although yesterday's game was a little different than today's, but we were in the game. We played well. We came out ready to play, and today we kind of put the game away early, and I was happy to see, some of the guys swing the bat that have been struggling a little bit. And of course, Jake, we wanted to get a game out of Jake where he can get extended a little bit, and because we got a big weekend, and of course 5 games in a week, you're always concerned about bullpen and using guys up. And he just with the doctor order, he threw 8 innings and allowed us to rest some guys, and of course threw a ton of ground balls like he always, very efficient. And it's just overall a great job by our guys.
If you have a question for Gino, please use the hand raise function. And we'll start with Christopher Stock from Inside the U. Chris.
Yeah, you touched on a couple guys struggling. Edgardo was one of those guys. And for him, I'm curious about your confidence in him. You leave him up there in the order and for him to deliver, what gives you confidence? And then what'd you see tonight, maybe different than his at-bats recently?
Well, I thought his swing was a little flatter. He's got a tendency to be uphill, which creates a little length in his swing, gets long. So therefore, when you're long, you're not catching up to some fastballs. You're not staying on the same plane. You're not level and flat. So you're swinging through pitches. And even tonight, you notice when they threw him a changeup or two, he's got to recognize that pitch. That's kind of been a problem for him during this little stretch where he was struggling, is recognizing the change out of the hand and off speed too, for that matter. But bottom line is staying flat through the zone, because even if you're out in front, if you stay flat, you still got a chance to put the ball in play pretty good. So from that standpoint, yeah. And, he's a freshman. These guys got to have to deal with some adversity. And he fits that spot for us. That was a spot in the lineup, the 2 spot, which was one that we didn't really know who to hit there. There's some guys I can put there, but I'd rather leave them where they're at. And like a guy, for example, like Burke, I think we played him a couple of times early on in the 2-hole, but I like him in the 5 spot. I like him behind all those guys. I like him hitting with guys on base. He's one of our better clutch hitters. And so therefore I don't want to have to tinker with it too much. And that's why these guys they got to be able to handle a little adversity and make the adjustments. You're going to go through these stretches. You're not going to hit, throughout the year without not going through a little bit of a stretch like Edgardo's gone through.
Our next question comes from Cal Friedman from Kane Sport. Cal.
Hey, Gino, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the 10-game winning streak. Edgardo just got done telling us that you promised the team a steak dinner if you got 10 games in a row.
Yeah, that's part of why I didn't come up here. I was on the phone with my wife trying to hurry up and get a bunch of steaks. And I said, they want to eat that. I didn't know, it's one of those things you don't want to talk about it, but it happened tonight. So I asked them in the locker room, and they all said they want to eat tomorrow. And I go, oh boy. And I told my wife this could happen, but I didn't want to jinx it. We weren't going to shop until we got the 10th win, and we got it. So I was on the phone with her trying to place the order of, cooking for 30 some odd players and staff and coaches. And the number can get up to about 45 people. So that's a lot of people, and you got to have a nice little cookout in less than 24 hours. So, but yeah, that's something that we've done here before. It's not easy. Winning 10 games in a row at this level is not an easy thing to do, and our guys deserve to be rewarded for it. And we try to have occasional meals. We're allowed to do that under NCAA rule. Have occasional meals with our guys, and we had one right before the season started, and this is perfect time to have another one.
And then to talk a little bit about Dominic Patelli, we're here in April, and he's leading your team in home runs and RBI. After last season, he kind of struggled to make his way with the bat. Is this a surprise to you at all after seeing what he did in the offseason to make sure that he was ready for this year?
Well, you started by saying leading the team in home runs. That statement might be surprising. Of course, I told Dom in the locker room he's leading the team in home runs because Josh put it on the paper, which I wish he didn't do, but I mentioned it. But of course, I said it with a wink, like, easy though. You're not a home run guy per se. But look, the wind's blowing out. He's squared up the balls. He's hit some big ones. Of course, the grand slams were huge, absolutely huge for us in the Duke series. He does have a little bit of surprising pop for a little guy. He's always had that. I'm more happy with the consistency that he's had in terms of just being a better hitter. Dom's weakness is trying to lift the ball too much, and I don't want him to do that. I don't want him to try to hit home runs. That's not his game. And we're fortunate. It's a bonus that we've gotten it from him, albeit 6. We're not hitting a lot of home runs this year, although we have some guys that can hit them, and maybe we go through a stretch where we will hit some more. But he needs to be a guy that's a line drive hitter, hitting the ball to all fields. He has a tendency to get under balls and lift, which he hasn't done lately. And his other, tendency is sometimes to hook the ball and get around and get his hands out and around the ball. But when he stays inside the ball and he backspins the ball, he's got surprising power. And, so I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by.
Our next question comes from Haley Sutton from NBC6. Haley?
Hey, Gino, congrats on the win. Obviously a big series coming up this weekend against Virginia. How do you get the guys, I guess, to kind of stay mentally locked in when you have 2 back-to-back midweek games, a little bit of a break, and then you shift back into conference play?
I thought it'd be, more difficult getting ready for these 2 midweek games myself. I don't think, gosh, I hope it shouldn't be too difficult to get ready for 2 top 10 teams, I guess, ranked matchup. That doesn't happen all the time. And a big ACC series. I think, hopefully we'll have good crowds. I think our guys will be definitely fired up for those games. It's the games like these that are, you're playing, the crowds aren't as big, 6 o'clock game, you got class, you're coming over from class, you got class tomorrow. You worry about these games that we just got done playing in the last 2 days, for me, more than being up and ready for the other games. Now, albeit we need to play very good baseball to be successful this weekend, because Virginia is a very good team. But in terms of being mentally ready and motivated to play, I got to hope that we're ready to go come Friday.
And heading into that series, I guess you're kind of hitting the midway point or getting deep into conference play. I guess, what have you been pleased with so far now that conference is underway and you're getting into some of these big series?
Well, I've told the team, still not playing on all cylinders. As a coach, you'd like everything to be right. But we are doing better in areas. Alejandro Rosario has pitched good his last few outings. And that's very promising for us, especially him throwing on a Sunday. Carson Ligon, of course, been a great freshman for us on Saturdays. Hasn't had really, his first few starts were excellent. His other starts, he somehow managed to get through them, but they haven't been up to his standard, in my opinion. Of course, Carson's been good at Friday. So our starters have been good. I think really what I've liked is our bullpen. And I'm talking about the whole bullpen. Not Walt has been good all year. And, Gage, we got to get Gage going. His last few outings haven't been up to his standards. But the bullpen as a whole, the depth of it has been better. You're getting good innings out of Torres, Gallo, and Schlesinger, and JP Gates through the other day. And, some of those guys, of course, Alex McFarland, in his role, what he's doing has been very, very good. All those guys, we're going to need all those guys. We've told them that. And so that to me is promising. And then just getting the lineup, which we've been tinkering with our lineup in the outfield, specifically right field and DH. And we would like to get some consistency there. We're still kind of searching for that. But all in all, guys are playing well and very happy with, when you're winning 10 games in a row, you got to play pretty good baseball. We've played really good defense. We did not early on in the season. I would say during this 10-game stretch, Josh could tell you better than me. I know we didn't make any errors today. I bet we fielded close to probably 980, if I had to guess, during this 10-game stretch, which would lead the nation. Usually 980, right around there, is leading the nation somewhere in that ballpark.
Our next question comes from Christopher Stock from Inside the U. Chris.
Gino, could you touch on Virginia, what you kind of know about them at this point, what's made them a strong team? And obviously Jake's having a heck of a year.
I don't know much about them, Chris. Our coaches start watching them and preparing them for them now as we're speaking and tomorrow. And I think I've been told they've got some lefties in their rotation. I always know Virginia is a very, very well coached team, very fundamentally sound, usually a difficult team to strike out. They do a very good job of putting the ball in play and hitting with 2 strikes, usually a very good defensive team. They're very good at manufacturing runs. They're just very well coached. Other than that, I don't know what players or who is doing well for them, but we'll know a lot more come the end of the day tomorrow and going into Friday. But when you're trying to prepare for all these games and stuff, it's difficult. You know, you don't want to get ahead of yourself. So there's a lot of work being done right now and going into all day tomorrow and then into Friday.
And can we get an update on Carlos Perez and Lorenzo Carrier? Obviously haven't been out there. And then is Jordan okay? If just update on those guys.
Jordan Dubberly?
Yes. Is he
he's
fine?
fine. He got cramped. You know, it got really humid here all of a sudden. I guess we played yesterday, Tuesday. It was humid, and it was very humid. It feels like it's late in the season right now in early April. That it's extremely humid. So he's fine. Jordan Dubberly's fine with cramps. Lorenzo Carrier, we're waiting to hear from Lorenzo. Is me communicating with his dad and his mom, but there's a chance he might be out for the season. He had a dislocation in his shoulder on a swing back at UCF, and he's got a little small tear, I guess, in the labrum. So they're going to have to repair that. And if he does go on with this, along with the surgery, which I think he's going to, he'll be out for the rest of the year, unfortunately. And in regards to Carlos Perez, is still trying to come back from the pinky injury early on, getting hit with the ball. He's been able to swing the bat a little bit, but catching has been more difficult. And so it's one of those things where, you know, he's been cleared by the doctors, but he hasn't felt comfortable himself, more so catching than hitting, but both. He hasn't been able to really do both at the level that you need to play in a game. So we're just kind of day by day, and we're working with him. He caught a bullpen today, and, you know, he hit, you know, and just one of those things. When he tells us he can go, he'll go, but he hasn't said that yet.